sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so you'll know whenever we get another great video. So, Sentinel Island is an island located in the Bay of Bengal. Surrounding the Bay of Bengal, there is India, Myanmar, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. And there is a tribe living inside the Sentinel Island. And this tribe calls themselves the Sentinel Island. And in the Sentinel Island, people call the people in the Sentinelese tribe violent, cannibal, and sometimes even downright rude. But why are people calling the Sentinelese people that? Well, that's what we're going to learn today in my channel. So, whenever you go close or in the oceans of the Sentinel Island, or if you even go inside their territory in the forest, then the Sentinelese people are sure to jump out of their homes and attack you with spears, knives, and bows and arrows, and much more weapons. And the place they live, the island is 23 square miles, and it's covered with lush green grass, trees, and plants. There's even streams inside of their homes. And people are really interested about the Sentinel Island. They have questions like, how can they survive, and what do they do inside, and how do they live a life without electronics, money, and the modern things we need to survive. And they are so interested that they decide that they're just going to go inside Sentinel Island in their territory to see what's inside and how they survive. And that's not okay. Even though how interesting it sounds, you're invading someone's territory, and the Sentinel people have stayed here for thousands and thousands of years. And there's theories that they were some of the first African people's descendants. So they attack, and they can even kill people. And they can make you severely hurt. Like, there's stories of two fishermen. They fell asleep on their boat, and the makeshift anchor they made with a rock and some rope snapped and broke, and they began drifting toward the Sentinel Island. They had no idea. They were fast asleep. So they kept on drifting in the oceans of the Sentinel Island until they came too close toward the territory. So the Sentinel people started to attack. They took out their bows, spears, and their knives and began throwing them at the two fishermen. And they sunk, drowned, and fell into the ocean. People today are still trying to uncover the fishermen's bodies and rescue them. But once they even get close to the oceans and try to scoop out the fishermen's dead bodies, then the Sentinel jump out and attack. And they don't want to have that fate that the fishermen have. And in 2004, there was a big tsunami that washed out the Sentinel people. There were 250 450 to 500 people that were in the ship at that time when the tsunami came. Surprisingly, none of them died. They all survived. And a helicopter sent from India began to try and come and rescue the people, but they didn't want any help. They didn't want anyone to help them. They've been living here for really, really long, and this was their territory, their home. So they threw all their weapons at the helicopter, and the helicopter fled immediately, and it didn't want to crash because there were people on board the helicopter who were trying to save the Sentinelese people from drowning and dying. And the Sentinelese people were independent and they didn't want any help, so they went back themselves. There's even more stories of people getting severely hurt because they tried to come in the Sentinelese people's territory. There's one story about a large boat from National Geographic with writers, people with cameras, and many, many more people, and they tried their best to make a documentary about North Sentinel Island. But once they tried to take photos, write about what was happening, it was too late. The Sentinel people began to throw all of their weapons at the ship, and so they moved to a different location. But soon enough, a shower of arrows, knives, and spears began thrown at the boat, and one arrow even landed in the writer's thigh. So they went back and never came again, but still, even more people began to come to Sentinel Island out of their curiosity after that story. An American tourist in 2018 came to Sentinel Island with a Bible in his hand. He wanted to teach the Sentinel people about Christianity. And the Sentinel people didn't want any of that. So they began to attack him, and he died. And they buried him right where he died. His body is still there. And in 1967, the Indian government sent Trilomnath Pandit and a team of people to go to Sentinel Island. And they often put in gifts of coconuts in the water. Coconuts were the food that the Sentinel people valued very, very much, even though coconuts didn't grow in their island that much. But they refused to take the coconuts until one day, the first act of peace between the Sentinel people and outsiders happened. Once they put the coconuts into the water one last time, after a few hours, the Sentinelese people began swimming toward the coconuts, while Trilomnath Pandit and his team members began handing coconuts to the Sentinelese people. And they came without weapons too. And there's even more footage online of what happened. But that was the last time, the first and the last time that they would have peace together. But some of you might be thinking about why the tribe began to fight with other people whenever they tried to go inside their territory. Well, in the late 1800s, a British explorer decided to go to Sentinel Island, and surprisingly, when he arrived, no one was there. No one threw their arrows at him. So he decided to go inside their territory. He found abandoned homes and pathways inside, and he began to walk there. Suddenly, he found a group of 6 Sentinel people. He wanted to do something with them and show everyone them. So he captured them and kidnapped them and took him back to his homeland. And inside that group were some children and an elderly couple. The elders died of disease quickly, and the children immediately got transported back to the Sentinel Island. Thanks! I hope you liked my video. Comments below